There is one particular trap that the enemy uses over and over again. It's kind of the standard deception that he uses on people, both unbelievers and believers alike. And this deception, well, it's actually a trick. This trick is so easy to see through, but most people don't see through it. When something is completely consistent with your expectations, check it. But a lot of folks don't do it. This is what the enemy does. When he comes to lure you into self-destruction, because that's what the enemy wants, for you to operate in a self-destructive cycle. When the enemy wants to lure you in self-destruction, he will come with something that's consistent with your expectations. You know why? Because when something is consistent with your expectations, you are likely to agree with it. If you are a Republican and someone comes with liberal policies, you will likely refuse them because you're clinging on to this Republican identity. If you are holding on to traditions from the past, then you are likely to look down or to resist trends that are coming and going. So something that's consistent with your own expectations, you're likely to embrace it. Okay? That's how human beings are, both believers and unbelievers. And the enemy knows this, so the enemy makes use of this dynamic. So when the enemy wants to trap you, he will come with a psyop, a psychological operation that will lure you in. Look, when you want to catch fish, you use an angle or use a net. If you want to attract bees, you may use honey or some other sweet, natural sweetener to attract bees. Or whatever you can use to attract bees. I'm not specialized in attracting bees, okay? So in hunting, when you want to catch a prey, you use what's relevant to the prey. You're not going to use a ball with spices when you want to catch, let's say, a swine. But you may put a dead carcass over there, because that's what swine eat, dead carcasses. So you put a dead carcass over there, and so you'll have swine there. So in nature, when you're hunting or going to catch an animal, you use what's relevant to the lifestyle and nature of the animal you want to catch, right? That's how the enemy sees us. He sees us as prey, and he examines our expectations. And actually, it doesn't have to take a long time to examine them, because he is the one that has conditioned the world of people to begin with. Because Satan is the god of this world, so he's the one who conditions the world. So based on your expectations that you've been conditioned in, the enemy presents something onto you. Just a story. And that story is in sync with how you've been conditioned. And because it's in sync with you, unconsciously you embrace it. And later, on a conscious level, you gravitate towards that story. You begin to hold on to that story. And that's how the enemy sucks you in. That's how he puts you in dangerous relationships. That's how he puts you in dangerous situations. And that's how he tricks you into relying on yourself instead of relying on Christ. And that's how the enemy destroyed millions throughout human history. Many think that when Satan comes, he will come with a pitchfork, with horns, and he will be cursing and shouting, and he'll come with many scary looking entities. That's how people think Satan will come. He won't come like that. He will come as everything you ever wanted. That's why it's important to pay attention when something is presented onto you. For example, let's say that, because this is done collectively also, it's easier to trap a collective than it is to trap an individual. Because once you trap a collective, it means a group of people, you automatically trap a lot of individuals. So let's say, for example, there's a murder case, or a homicide case, where a guy killed his own family, wife and children dead in cold blood. And the people in the community, they're upset, they're angry because it happened. They feel they're angered up with the situation, and that's natural. But then, as the case progresses, you notice that it's too convenient. They know the guy did it, the court case happens quickly, and everything adds up so smoothly that you're going to think this is too easy to be true. Because you know that even in movies, when there is a murder case, they will examine all the scenarios and it will take a while before they catch the killer. And let's say now that everyone around you is happy that the guy received his prison sentence or his death sentence. But then you check the case and you realize, hold on a minute, this case is way too easy. If this guy killed his family, why did he do it? And then you look at the context of the crime and you realize that the context doesn't add up at all. You find more inconsistencies than you find evidence that the guy did it. And even in the media reporting, you see many contradictions. And then you think, how could people fall for this crap? You realize that this whole thing is a hoax. The reason why people fell for the hoax is because the story lined up with their expectations. Those people may have been conditioned through feminism that women are always the victim and men are the perpetrators. So this bigotry between the sexes, that is what the local leaders wanted to flame up to distract the population. So they came up with a hoax of a guy mercilessly killing his wife and children just to put men in active daylight, because they knew that once this happens, people are triggered and they're distracted by the trauma that's been inflicted on the population. The psyop caused a real trauma, even though the homicide never happened. The hoax that they inflicted on the population did cause a trauma, as if the homicide was real. So a psyop will always traumatize a population, even if the actual crime or event never happened. And the reason psyops are so effective is because people cling when things are consistent with their expectations. Because often people don't even want to examine their own expectations. So when something is too consistent with your expectations, check it out. Chances are you're being deceived. Chances are you're being scammed. Chances are the enemy is behind that thing to lure you into destruction. Just one quick example. Let's say you're watching MTV Cribs. I'm just give an example. That show doesn't exist anymore, but okay, let's say you're watching a series maybe in which celebrities are showing where they live, how they live. And you see this rapper showing his expensive house. He has 3 cars, he has 2 motorcycles, has this big house with 5 rooms, 3 bathrooms, 2 swimming pools. So you look at this and you think, whoa, he made it. You've been conditioned to think that if you work hard with your talent, you'll make it far in life. That's how society conditions you into hard work. And now you see this rapper who had many hits showing how expensive he lives. So what he's showing is consistent with your expectations. So you believe it, you cling on to it. But later, someone tells you, let's say your name is Robert, someone tells you, Robert, that rapper, that house of his, why is it so clean? They don't think, come on, you clean your own house, right? You're not going to allow things to become like a dump site. Then the other tells you, but Robert, any house, if you don't maintain it, it will turn out a mess. If someone abandons a building for just a year, just see how much dust grows in that place. A house needs to be maintained, and a house like that, you'll need to hire house cleaners or housemaids to do it for you. And even then, people are living there, it's inhabited. So you must see some mess here and there, because they're using the kitchen, so you may see a kitchen knife there where it shouldn't belong, or you may see that they need to throw away some trash because they haven't thrown away the trash yet. Or if it's a living room, you may see some marks someone sat in a couch. You must see some marks that the place is inhabited. Robert, why is that house so clean? And then you look at the episode again and you realize that it seems as if this guy isn't even living there, but he's only renting the place for the show. In this case, you're being scammed, but initially you didn't notice the red flags because what was presented onto you was consistent with your expectations. I'm not going to make this video too long. When something is too consistent with your own expectations, a big chance is that you're being scammed. When God wants to promote you, He will never do it according to your expectations. Because it's written that God is able to do exceedingly more than we can ask or think. So God's strength is above your thinking, above your imagination, it's above your human capacity. That's why you rely on Him. That's why you walk in His strength. And because God has all information and He sees everything, that's why His ways are far more excellent than any way you could ever think of. Whatever plan, how intelligent it may be that you can think of, God's plans are far superior than them. So God will never lower His operations to your expectations. That will not do you any good. But that's what most people want. Most people want things to work out and unfold on their terms because they want a sense of control. And Satan knows this. So Satan will validate your expectations just to trick you into self-destruction. Because once Satan validates your expectations, you become self-reliant, and self-reliance is another word for pride. A lot of people don't realize that self-reliance is pride, and once you operate in pride, you're operating in a tunnel vision. And when you operate in tunnel vision, you can't see things clear anymore. And when you can't see things clear, you're not alert, and sooner or later, you walk into a trap, or you walk against a wall. That's how it goes. So God wants you to use His strength for your benefit. God wants you to use His strength for your benefit. He wants you to rely on His strength. Satan is all about you being independent. It's all about you being private. It's all about you having boundaries, having norms and values and principles. Satan is all about boundaries, all about self-limitations. Why? Because Satan wants you to focus on you at your expense. God wants you to focus on Him for your benefit. Satan wants you to focus on you for your destruction. So when something is too consistent with your expectations, check it. Okay? Well, that's it for now. Keep agreeing with Christ and be at peace.